Around the world, people are putting something back into their communities in sustainable and innovative ways. Welcome to World Challenge 2007, where people can have principles and make a profit. Now in its third year, World Challenge travels the globe in its search for businesses and projects that are about more than just the pursuit of profit. And you have the chance to decide which ones win fabulous awards to reinvest in their enterprises. Each week we profile 2 of the dozen finalists, and you can vote for your favourite at www.theworldchallenge.co.uk. That's www.theworldchallenge.co.uk. In this programme, how waste is being turned into artificial limbs that poor Nepalese can afford. And in the Andes, how descendants of the Inca are reaping modern-day rewards from their ancestors' legacy. Rural Nepal is beautiful, but you have to be hardy to live here. For those living at the foot of the Himalayas, walking is often the only means of transport. And yet, according to the Nepal Disabled Association, up to 4 million Nepalese have some kind of disability, and many have no limbs. Most people are desperately poor. Foreign-made prosthetic limbs that could transform their lives cost many times the average annual income. Now, a low-cost and highly effective prosthetic leg is changing lives. It's made from waste plastic, and it could be made almost anywhere. In Nepal's rugged landscape, livelihoods are dependent on physical stamina. For the 80% who live in rural areas, life can be an endless grind of manual labour. For Sushila, life is much harder. She's 16 years old. She was born with no hands or feet. Her legs are different lengths. She gets herself to school and has ways of getting around and even writing. The challenges she faces are not all physical, but cultural too.
A deformity in Hindu culture can mean that the gods are being a little bit angry, and so the chance of marriage is very, very slight.
Artificial limbs can lessen the stigma, but they're expensive.
A lot of people, because of the cost, can't afford it. That's the reality. Basically, because in the population strata, the people who are disabled are in the lowest category, so they can't afford it.
New Zealander Rob Buchanan was moved by the plight of the disabled. That was his motivation for setting up NGO Mend, mobility equipment for the needs of the disabled, in 1991.
If you can improve the mobility, if you can improve their skills training, if you can improve health, all these things build up independence and create dignity.
Ganga Rayamaji, now 22, was one of those helped by Mend.
When I was 3 months old, I lost my legs in a fire. I felt very embarrassed. Everyone teased me in the village as I crawled around. At the beginning at school, I used to crawl up to class 3. Then I began to walk on my knees. I never missed a single class.
Ganga was one of the lucky ones. At 16, she was fitted with a set of high-quality, imported prosthetic legs. Her training as a physiotherapist was funded by Mend, and she now works at a hospital and also runs ASHA, a local organisation working in partnership with Mend to help others like her.
Ganga's wearing a limb that comes from Switzerland, which is distributed here. That costs possibly $1,500 to $2,000, made in Europe. Our challenge here has been to design and develop low-cost limbs, very low-cost limbs, that can be fitted to any person in Nepal and then eventually in any country. So we're talking $20 or €10. So we're in a different ball game.
So far, Mend has fitted 12 of the limbs made from recycled plastic, and production can be scaled up easily with these aluminium moulds.
Now these are made from smelted down aluminium drink cans. A complete set of moulds here to make 4 sizes costs about $200. So it's very low cost technology.
The moulds are made in a foundry, starting with a fiberglass original that Rob designed.
From this we can make hundreds and hundreds of sets of moulds. If any country would like to have a set, this is where it'll be all done here.
The fiberglass form is tightly held in between 2 boxes filled with sand, which is then firmly packed. The fiberglass can then be removed, leaving a very precise space in its exact shape between the 2 halves of the cast. The molten aluminium quickly sets. Seconds later, the metal cast can be removed. Every cast piece, this one for a prosthetic thigh section, needs to be smoothed in the workshop before they can be used in the field. Tamgas is 15 hours drive to the west of Kathmandu, and Mend has, with Ganga's organisation, made it a base to help the disabled in the hilly region of Goldmine. With the mould system, prosthetics can be made on the spot.
We take a plastic powder and it comes in a granule form. This is a recycled powder. We weigh it out on the scale, in this case about half a kg, and we just tip it in. The next stage is we take our mould and we bolt the top on. We tighten up. The next thing now, we're going to attach it to this frame, right? This is what you call rough science. Now this contraption, see, now it's mounted and it's ready to turn.
The frame allows the mould to be turned evenly over a fire, coating the inside evenly with melted plastic. It's cooled and released. Now it's time to see how the limb actually works. It must be tailored for each individual. The adjustments are done in a specialist workshop. Lakshman Nepali is 8 years old and lost his leg in a road accident. The limb he's receiving today means he'll be able to walk again.
This prosthesis, designed by Rob, is very cheap and accessible to everyone. It's very appropriate for a Nepalese context.
The first tentative steps are daunting, but it's an improvement on crutches.
Those sort of innovative work, and that are more cost-effective, and that could be used in utilizing the local resources, or people who are poor can also afford it.
Raghab Dawadi lost his leg in a rice mill accident, aged 12. He received one of the Mend limbs 3 days ago.
It was provided by Mr. Rao. I have been practicing since 2 or 3 days. Before that, I had used crutches. I think it is very light and easier to walk from place to place in the remote area also.
It's those remote areas, such as Tamgas, where Mend is making a real difference. People travel for hours from mountain villages to attend the surgery sessions for advice on disabilities.
This can really made by like a foot.
Not all can be helped by prosthetics, but they can be referred for hospital treatment that's otherwise inaccessible. Sushila has made a 2-day journey by bus to get here.
We are taking measurement for prosthesis, artificial leg. So because of one leg is long, so another is short. So that compensate both legs equal.
Pralhad is a professional medical technician who takes a cast of her stump so an artificial leg can be fitted.
After that, we can we make prostheses.
MEND is building partnerships with local Nepali organisations to take over its work.
To be effective, you need to set up and train local people to manage their own projects, and our aim is particularly to train and empower disabled persons to do that work themselves. If we were fortunate enough to win that great prize, I think we'd expand our project, and I think we could set up little workshops like this one here in many parts of Nepal.
In part 2, the edible Inca treasure that's bringing new hope to Peru's high-altitude farms.